In this video, we're going to look at other forms of decision logic. So we've already looked at if, else if, and else. I'm going to show you a new statement called a switch statement. And so what the switch statement does, it varies, it kind of accomplishes the same thing as if, else, but in a different manner. So if, else, and else are evaluating different expressions. So you can actually really have any kind of test that you want, and this is very flexible if you're looking for multiple conditions. But a switch statement is best if you're processing a variable or an input that has a finite number of possible values. So what I mean by finite, let's say for instance, if you're looking for certain words, so I'm going to get rid of this, and instead of asking is programming fun, yes or no, I'm going to say, what is your favorite animal? And you're going to type in the name of an animal, and then we're going to look to see if a specific animal name is entered. So the way switch is going to work, we're going to say switch X, and this is where in the if-else statement you're evaluating a Boolean expression. Here we're evaluating a string. And so the general structure of a switch statement is you're switching off of your X, off of your variable, and then you're going to evaluate certain cases. So in case X is, say, a dog, it's going to do one thing. In case it's a cat, you're going to do another. In case it's a snake, you're going to do something else. And then there's always the default condition at the end in case there was no case, right? So we'll say case dog. We'll say console right line woof. We'll say break. Now you have to always have case and break paired together. So let's say, let me check, make sure this builds. Okay. So now we'll say case cat. We'll say console right line meow. So just to make sure these guys are all formatted the same. And then let's do default. So the default is, in case there's a case that's not found, you can say console right line. Having issues typing today. I don't like how it's formatting this, so I'm gonna put that. Okay. So what is your favorite animal? We'll say dog. It says wolf. If we say cat, it says meow. And then finally, if we give it some kind of garbage, it says huh. Now there's a nifty trick with the switch statement. So the power of the if statement is that you can have very complex Boolean logic in an if statement. But let's say, for example, if we wanted more than one kind of dog, say a Chihuahua, we would have to do a separate case statement for a Chihuahua. And this is not a very desirable way to make decisions. So now you have to have dog and Chihuahua. Oops. Forgot my colon. So now if I say Chihuahua, it says woof. Now what happens if I type capital Chihuahua? It doesn't find it. One way that you can make sure that this does not happen in a switch statement is come up here to your variable and type to lower, and that will take everything that you type in and convert it to lowercase. So if I did all of this as Chihuahua, it still finds it because X gets converted to lowercase and then it finds a match. However, though, this is still a problem that we have duplicated logic here. Not duplicated logic, but really just kind of similar tests, but with the same output. And that can be a bit of a struggle in how to make this code better. So let me show you a trick you can do. Let's just come here and delete that. And we have stacked case statements. So you can actually stack as many case statements as you want, as long as there are no statements and no break statements. It will let the logic fall through here. Now that is a feature of C#. That is not a feature of Visual Basic. In fact, I'm almost positive what Visual Basic does is it allows you to separate this list with a comma. So if you actually stack your case statements in Visual Basic, it won't let you. It expects it to be delimited with a comma. So now you have dog and Chihuahua, and we can type capital D-O-G, and it still finds it because it converts everything to lowercase. Now another weakness whenever you're accepting user inputs, and by and large the most errors ever in programs is text and values that are entered by a human. Humans are exceptionally bad at spelling, at capitalization, formatting, doing everything the same way. We suck, right? So if somebody says dog and a space, again, it doesn't find it. Why? Because a space is also a character. We're not going to try and account for every single possible input of dog. So the way that you get rid of spaces is you add trim. So now we're going to take whatever the user enters, we're going to convert it to lowercase, and then we're going to trim all the spaces off of it. Now this gets rid of spaces at the beginning and the end of a string, but if there's any spaces in the middle, like this, it will not get rid of it. So keep that in mind when you trim. It's only leading and trailing spaces, or spaces at the beginning and the end. So now if I do space, 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 dog, space, space, it still finds it. So this is the basics of the switch statement. We'll look at looping and repeating in another video.